So the topic we're going to discuss today is magnetism. It's a very easy and interesting topic. So when we talk about magnetism, the first thing that comes in our mind is what is a magnet? Okay, we all know what magnet is, but in definition, the object that can produce its own magnetic field and can attract magnetic bodies is called a magnet. So what does that mean? So let us take two objects that are magnet actually in life. So you can see on my left hand side, you can see an object popping up on the screen, and that's a black color round magnet which we usually find on speakers. On my right hand side, you can see on the right hand side of the screen, you can see there's another magnet which is a bar magnet which we usually use in scientific lab. So these both are magnets. So these both are certain objects that are called magnets. Why do we call them magnets? Is the reason behind it is they contain a magnetic field. They can produce their own magnetic field. You can see those fields popping up on the screen around it. You can see that the magnetic field that you can see on the screen around the magnets, these magnetic field has got the capability to attract any magnetic bodies towards it. Right? Magnetic bodies towards it. Magnetic bodies refers to those bodies which contain iron atoms. Okay, iron means which we call in Nepali phalam. So the bodies that contain iron atoms are called magnetic bodies, and those bodies are attracted towards the magnet due to these magnetic fields. They contain that magnetic force that attracts every magnetic bodies towards the magnet. So any object that has got this magnetic field and can attract magnetic bodies towards it are called magnets. So these two are a fine example of magnets. Let's step further and learn more. The properties of magnet. What makes magnet so special and unique from other objects? What are the features behind it? Those things are studied under the properties of magnet, which we also call magnetism. And the first property that we have is number one, magnets attract magnetic bodies, which we call iron. If we keep a magnet, which is in the right hand side, I'm going to keep my video popping at the top right corner now. You can see there's a black color magnet and there are some iron nails. There's a decent distance between them right now. So there's no attraction going on because the magnetic nails are not in the coverage of the magnetic field yet. But as we bring the magnet close to the iron nails, see what happens. So when we bring the magnet close to the iron nails gets attracted to the magnet. Let us see once again. As we bring the magnet close, the iron nails gets attracted to the magnet. So what we can conclude is the first and most prime property of any magnet is that magnets can attract magnetic bodies, and magnetic bodies means those bodies which contains iron atoms. So let's see another characteristic or property of magnetism number two. They have more magnetic force at the poles than in the middle part. So this is a magnet, this is a bar magnet, and the edges of this magnet are called poles. The corners are called poles, North Pole and South Pole. We'll get to understand why do we call it North and South in the further property, but for now these are the two poles. The entire magnet has got that magnetic force, but at the edges or the corner side, or let's call it what we call it is at the poles, the magnetic force is higher than compared to the middle part. This is the reason why the nails get attracted to the poles first. The reason behind it is the magnet contains more magnetic force at the poles than in the middle part. Let's see the other property. A freely suspended magnet points at the north and south direction at rest. If we freely suspend a magnet and tie it up at the exact center and suspend it freely, and when the magnet comes to the rest, it will always point towards the north and south direction. That's why we call it north and south pole for the magnets. So this property explains that if we freely suspend a magnet, it will always point towards the north and south pole. This is the reason why people use compasses having magnets, because compasses are supposed to show us directions and magnets helps the compass to determine the direction accurately, because the magnets always come to rest at north and south direction if freely suspended. The last property for today is going to be properties of magnet. For like poles of magnet repel one another and unlike poles attract. This is also called law of magnet. So here we have two bar magnets and the same poles north and north are facing each other. In this case, the like poles that are facing each other do not attract each other, but instead repels it, means it throws it away. You might have felt that while using two magnets together. There's a certain side where you keep the magnets together, but it doesn't attract, but it tries to throw it away. The reason behind it is, this is one of the property of a magnet, that the like poles repel one another. And if you are experiencing that in a magnet, it is because you are making both the same poles face each other, and this causes the repulsion. Like poles of magnet repel one another, but the unlike poles means if the opposite poles are facing each other, here the north and south are facing each other, in this case the magnets gets attracted. So this is why we conclude the property as like poles of magnet repel one another and unlike poles attract, which is also called the law of magnet. So altogether we studied what a magnet is and what are the properties of magnet. So 4 properties are studied, which are: magnets attract magnetic bodies, they have more magnetic force at the poles than in the middle part, a freely suspended magnet points at the north and south direction at rest, like poles of magnet repel one another and unlike poles attract, which is also called the law of magnet.